All right, so we got some interesting stuff. I've been, been a little bit gone and stuff. I swear article reads are coming back. I'll be doing tomorrow of article reads, unless there's something more interesting that pops up. But yeah, we have another video. We have Mr. Young Yeah, and this is talking about the Epic Games layoff and what the CEO Tim Sweeney has been talking about the whole ordeal. So if you guys do like the content and everything, make sure to subscribe and make sure to like the video, comment down below, and let me know what else you guys would want me to react to or look up and things of that nature. I'm down to look it up in the game industry. Anyway, let's go.
If there was ever proof that to a corporation, human beings are just numbers on a spreadsheet, is this situation right here. So if you've been keeping track of Epic Games' recent activity, you'll know that on March 24th, 2026, Epic Games laid off over 1,000 people, and they also announced that they'll shut down various Fortnite game modes like Rocket Racing, Ballistic, and Festival Battle Stage. And then beyond that, you've got this post right here from Tim Sweeney. This is a note that was sent to Epic. And
so basically, this is what happened. He'll say it basically. Sorry. Laid off people because they needed to save some money. Not some money. When I say save some money, they mean like $500 million, which for them is nothing. For everybody else, life-changing generational money, right? Generational, like generations. Let me put that way. But yeah, they had to cut some they had to cut some costs. And also they closed down a few modes that people were working on and developing. Ballistic was one of them, which is like kind of like the Counter-Strike version of like Fortnite's version of Counter-Strike minus the bomb planting. That's it.
Employees today as of March 24th, 2026, where Tim Sweeney just straight up said that today we're laying off over 1,000 Epic employees. I'm sorry we're here again. The downturn in Fortnite engagement that started in 2025 means we're spending significantly more than we're making, and we have to make major cuts to keep the company funded. And whose fault is that but decision making on the part of leadership and executives who refuse to hold themselves accountable and choose to have employees who are just following orders pay the price for leadership failure. The statement continues, this layoff, together with over $500 million of identified cost savings in contracting, marketing, and closing some open roles, puts us in a more stable place. And then Tim Sweeney talks about...
Now, I will say this. I can understand where they're coming from. Like, just Fortnite is not the colossal battle royale giant like it used to be back in the day. It's not like pre-COVID, and during COVID, Fortnite. But when I say pre-COVID, that was like peak Fortnite, and I'm talking about that's when they had the Pro Cup. Was it the World Cup? Fortnite World Cup. That was in New York, and they had everybody and anybody, and that's when they had stupid amount of money that they were just throwing out. I think I said it in a video before. I can't remember, but basically, not in a bad way, but it's like they had cartel money. And when I say that, not in a bad way, what I mean is they had so much money they didn't know what to do with it. So they were like, yo, let's throw a World Cup tournament where if you do solos, you're going to get like, first, second, third place. They're going to be their money that they're going to get is like in the millions of dollars bracket. That's pretty much like Booga won $3 million first place in solos. Then they have like the I think there's a Creator Cup that was there as well, which is what Scissors won. I can't remember if he was first place or not, but he won $1.5 million. Like this isn't just jump change or anything. This is a lot of money. This can really elevate people's careers. This can change people's lives just like that. So a lot of crazy stuff, right? And then on top of that, you have I believe Fortnite. If anybody here knows, please tell me. But Fortnite they still have cash cups that they have like on certain days, certain weeks or whatever. They're like, hey, Friday we have a cash cup, like solos or duos or something like that, and you compete, over the course of a few months, or like the course of the month or a few months. And if you you get first place, and you win a good amount of money, which is like a few $1,000, which is great. So it's really cool, and it's a thing that everybody can get into as well. So just saying. So it's again, they're throwing in a lot of money, and this has been going over the past over 5 years, I believe. Has it been over 5 years? Oh yeah, it's been well over 5 years. Almost 10 years, possibly, with Fortnite. Yeah, I think almost 10 years. So all that's happening, and then you have what was it? The UEFN that they released like 2 years ago, where they're like, hey, we want you to build maps and everything for Fortnite. Kind of takes away from the level designers, but still, make your own game modes and things like that on Fortnite. I forgot, they don't use source code, not source code. I can't remember the actual code that they use, but code it yourself and everything like that. We give you the assets and everything, code it yourself, make your mode. And if you get a great amount of people playing your game and sharing it and things like that, then we will pay you out as well. So just think, people were making like the Only Up games, people were making Ballistic, which then blew up, which I think is really cool because it was like Halo Scriftball, if you guys remember that in Forager mode. Anyway, so again, more money was thrown in at the community stuff, which is great. Like, it's paying people back. It's paying back to the community, ways for people to make a career, or to get out of a struggle. But now we're in the area where the economy is completely terrible. Everything is super high in cost, but job wise, nothing is happening. We're losing more jobs than ever. So yeah, it just sucks. It sucks. Sorry, I'm rambling about this, but that's what's going on with Epic Games. And again, I can see why they cut costs. Oh my goodness, that's such a brain twist. But then again, it's it sucks as well. So I continue.
About the industry-wide challenges that they've faced, including slower growth, weaker spending, and tougher cost economics. Current console selling less than last year.
Sorry. Also, creator skins, creator bundles. Their skins like Curse JD, Clicks, Chica, Loser Fruit, Cypher PK, Nick A30. You know who I'm talking. Like everybody that's like a main Fortnite creator, or been in the Fortnite space since the beginning of time, they all got a creator skin. So I wonder if it's price, also, obviously you have development costs for that, and then the creators, they get a percentage of revenue for that, for people buying their bundles and stuff like that. So I don't know.
Generations, and games competing for time against other increasingly engaging forms of entertainment, competition, essentially. And then beyond that, Tim Sweeney talks about Epic specific challenges, including challenges delivering consistent Fortnite magic with every season, as well as the fact that the mobile version of Fortnite is still being optimized and it's not ready for release. He also makes it a point to emphasize,
if you guys knew what the mobile for Fortnite is, there used to be a mobile mode, but then they had this huge lawsuit with Apple and Epic Games, because if you had an iPhone, if you're on Android, it's whatever, but if you had an iPhone, you had to get the game, if you wanted to purchase a battle pass or coins or whatever, you had to do it through the Apple Store. So that means not only that you're paying for the V-Bucks, but on top of that, you're paying the fee, the transfer fee and everything like that from Apple Store as well. So you're paying more than you're supposed to. So in simpler terms, it's like you subscribing to my Twitch channel. Instead of using it on PC, you're doing it on mobile. On mobile, it's a little more. So that's why when people subscribe, I'm like, please, if you guys are going to subscribe, do it on computer. Pull up the internet, go through internet browser. Don't do it straight off the app on your phone. Don't do that.
Emphasized that the layoffs didn't happen because he wanted to replace employees with AI, saying, "I should note that the layoffs aren't related to AI." And then he expresses his condolences, talking about how very painful it is to part with so many talented
This is the part that pisses off a lot of people.
Folks impacted by the layoffs will receive a severance package that includes at least 4 months of base pay, with more based on tenure. We're also extending Epic paid health care coverage. Healthcare and insurance are aspects that are at the center of today's story. He concludes with, in the U.S., they'll receive paid coverage for 6 months. We'll also accelerate their stock options vesting through January 2027 and extend equity exercise options for up to 2 years. The fact that the layoffs happened at all is just inexcusable, given
shitty.
that these are human lives that are entrusting their employers. And when the employers make decisions that lead to human lives being upended, that is just a woefully irresponsible thing, and the lack of accountability on the part of leadership is already baffling enough. And keep in mind,
and this he'll probably say it again, but this is also another big issue, is that people they refuse to take a pay cut. Like, there's only one person. Let me see if I can find it. Give me 1 second. From Nintendo. Nintendo, right? Yeah, Nintendo took a pay cut. I believe I said this person before, but then I forgot. Okay, here it is. It is Satoru Iwata. Took a 50% pay cut in both 2011 and 2014 to avoid laying off employees during the periods of poor financial performance. Other board members, including a legendary creator Shigeru Miyamoto, took a 20 to 30% salary reduction, and this is after the Nintendo 3DS launched, and it didn't do well. Yeah, Slash is paid to 50% following the underwhelming launch of the 3DS in 2011. Then 2014, poor sales of the Wii U console again took his salary 50%. For 5 months, while other directors reduced theirs to 20 to 30%. So now just imagine if Tim Sweeney took not even a 50% cut. What if he took a 30% pay cut, and then like the leadership took like a 10 or 20%? Like, everybody would still have their job still. Everybody would have their job still and everything like that. And then it would just say, hey, we just need to do better. We need to work harder, things like that. But did they do that? No. They didn't take a pay. They did not take a pay cut. They were just like, well, I'm sorry, guys. Don't know what to tell you. Hey, we got to let you go. Sorry. Bye. Type of thing. And it sucks.
Mind that it's not just decisions surrounding Fortnite and the fact that less people are playing Fortnite that's leading to the layoffs, but it's also executive and leadership decisions on the part of folks like CEO Tim Sweeney and expenditures surrounding those decisions that has led to all of this. And circumstances include how the company has spent years fighting costly legal battles with Apple and Google while bankrolling the Epic game.
Which really fucked them over. They shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have done it. Well, no, I take it back. It was good that they did that. It was stupid that Apple did it. The Apple was like, we're just going to keep pushing it. That was dumb.
Game store as it attempts to rival Steam, unsuccessfully so. And then there's the explosive growth of Roblox, which Fortnite has now fallen far behind. Competition is more than caught up. And then
this is where, with the Roblox thing and Fortnite, basically what happened, Roblox is like basically its own like universe. It's like a metaverse thing. Fortnite saw that and was like, we can do that as well. We can. So then that's when they had the UEFN. This is when they did the Eminem event that happened. I have a YouTube video on it long time ago, buried somewhere. But they have a, hold on, let me see. Sorry, hold on. Let's see if I can find that. Let's see here. It was Fortnite. Yeah, 2 years ago, the Eminem Fortnite event with the Oh, and then I was playing Black Ops or something. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, there was this event that I live streamed and everything like that, and it was at the end they showed like basically like universes and everything like that. And it was like they had one with like racing, and then they had the Legos, the Lego worlds and everything like that. So that was what was going on. And they try to have the same system as Roblox, but Roblox is just very robust because it's just like, I mean, Roblox is basically, it's just, the platform is like a website, and then they're like, hey, you know, if you here make a game, boom, just right there. Fortnite tried it with UEFN, but it's just a little more complex. So
those who remain at the company say they simply don't know how Fortnite will look later this year and beyond, with close to a quarter of the company's staff gone. Instead of preserving that institutional knowledge, Epic continues to downsize itself as the current climate surrounding that company continues to look worse. But amidst all this, the story that's gained tons of traction and really spotlighted how evil corporations can be and how corporations can often view human beings as just numbers on a spreadsheet is this post right here.
I heard about
this is Jenny Griffin. Her husband was among the now former Epic employees who were laid off recently. Yeah. But what makes this whole situation so devastating for Mike and Jenny is that Mike was terminally ill. Here's a statement from Jenny. I never imagined I'd be writing something like this. My husband, Mike, was recently laid off along with over 1,000 others at Epic Games. What makes this different for our family is that Mike is currently fighting terminal brain cancer.
Yes.
Because of the layoff, we didn't just lose income, we lost his life insurance. And because his condition is now considered a pre-existing condition, he can't get new coverage, which contrasts Tim Sweeney flaunting how, you know, they're extending Epic paid health coverage and how they'll receive paid coverage.
And basically what happened here is that that post caught a lot of attention, went viral and everything like that, that they had to change that. Hey, T, what's going on? I remember well when start I remember my brain went off. I remember well when start play video games was amazing, magical, and good old times. Same here. I remember when it was just simple ways of just way to escape from everything. Your mind, you shut your mind off and you were in whatever you were doing, whatever that game is, that's what you were, which was awesome. But yeah, this thing caught when it was very viral and everything like that. And what happened was Tim Sweeney had to react to it. But one thing that they somebody did compare this, and it was something about, if I can hold on, I just got to keep pulling these things up. They're all on Twitter. Let me see here. Look it up. So it was, I think it was Apex? No, it wasn't Apex. The reason why is because I'm looking at Apex right now. It was Epic Games. I think Valve? I know Valve was part of it. Valve did something. So let's see here. Where'd it go? Oh, let's see. Epic Games, and then I think it was, I'm like typing in some random thing. I was like Epic Games brain cancer, but it's not brain cancer, it's something like that. Something else. Okay. So Epic Games is in contact with the family and will insurance for them. Let's see here. Okay. Now, if I remember, somebody made a quote tweet of this. I gotta find it. Oh, sorry guys, sorry. Let me try and find it. All right, so there's that one, and then let me go here. Let me look up. I think it's Valve paid medical. Oh man, I saw it somewhere and I can't find it. Let's see here. Yeah, okay, I cannot find it. I'll have to find it somewhere. But it's like basically Valve. There were people that got there's a person that got laid off and didn't have insurance, and Valve paid this person's insurance, or like they paid their medical bill or something like that. It was crazy. Let's see here. Okay, yeah, I can't find it, but let me see here. What? Yeah, it's insane. It's insane. So let me go view quotes. Okay, here it is. I found it. Cool. All right. So this is what it was. So, it was this right here. So again, this caught wind. Let me zoom in, show you guys right here. Boom. So this caught wind, right? This is what was just shown in Young Yaz's video. Same thing verbatim. And then Tim Sweeney had to say something about it because this caught wind. Look, it had 2.6 million views, 66K likes, 9.5 thousand reposts, requotes, retweets, whatever you want to call it, and then 626 comments. Can't be ignored. So then he had to say something. So he said Epic is in contact with the family and will solve the insurance for them. There's a high confidentiality around medical information, and it was not a factor in this layoff's decision. Sorry for everyone that is not recognizing this terribly painful situation and handling in advance, because it put them in a bad light. Now, again, people are like, okay, I understand that, yeah, it's, some people were like, yeah, totally understandable, things like that. Hey, it is what it is. And other people were pretty upset. But this is what somebody else said. They said this. And this is why they say like pretty much, like Valve is just the GOAT. They are just the greatest of all time, is because they said LMAO, Gabe Newell, when faced with an employee with cancer, changed their employee status to get better and kept them at full salary the entire ordeal and paid out their insurance. They didn't get laid off. They were just like, hey, he's like, or not, I can't say he, but this person is not fired or anything. They're not laid off. They are still with the company and everything. They're still with the company. They're still with Valve. But they're just not working because they're very ill. And they need to get better. So I'm just gonna put them in the status of get well. They're still here and everything like that, and they're still gonna receive their pay. I think that's sick. I think that's cool. Like this, and then the picture, I mean, it's not really his actual picture, it's AI generated, but you guys know, like this again, Valve is another dub. Like it's not even Valve, it's Valve. It's Valve now. It's always been like that. And and remember, this is the same company that's going through multiple lawsuits because of people complaining they can't take accountability, like loot crates, in online gambling, like Counter-Strike. It's like, dude, it's your own money. You have to go through multiple processes to do that type of thing. Anyway, going way off topic, but again, Valve, another dub. And then Epic Games, they're just in hot water again
for 6 months, and how that's an aspect that will be taken care of after their tenure at Epic is over. Jenny's statement continues, and because his condition is now considered a pre-existing condition, he cannot get new coverage. So now, as I face the reality of losing my husband, I'm also facing the reality of what type of funeral/burial I can afford. How I will keep a roof over our heads, how I will protect our son and the life we built together, what will happen to our dogs. And that's the thing that corporations and executives and leadership don't see when they make the decisions that they do. True. That then end up impacting employees who had nothing to do with the decisions that led to a downturn in performance that made these corporations lay off these employees, is the way those decisions directly impact human lives, especially ones that are in precarious positions like this one involving terminal illness, and all that comes with that in the US, where universal healthcare isn't a thing, and where taking care of terminally ill people can amount to incredible, vast, just insurmountable expenditures.
Again, we're living in a really shitty time where everything in price is going up, cost is going up, but the thing is, there's no increase in like work at all. Like in the workforce, there's no increase in that. So it's, again, hard to get a job. Now it's like to the point people are like, hey, dude, it's not even worth it to go to college to get a degree because you can just learn everything on the internet, on YouTube and stuff like that, which is awesome. And it's also pretty smart. So you don't put yourself in the debt, but you know, people still go to college and they put themselves in the debt. And then now they have tens of thousands, possibly $100,000 in student debt that they need to pay off somehow. So housing crisis is ridiculous. Like it's hard to purchase a house anywhere in the States, especially these data centers and stuff going up. Then you got rent is pretty damn crazy. Like for a 1-bedroom apartment that I'm living in right now is damn near $2,000, which is insane, right? Yeah. So
Penny's statement continues, I truly believe that if the people who made this decision understood the full human impact, they would not have intended this outcome. I think Jenny gives executives and corporations too much credit, but at the very least, she's trying to look at things optimistically despite this awful situation. She continues, Mike is not just a number. He's a father, a husband, a person deeply loved. I'm sharing this in the hope that it reaches the right people. If you work at or know someone connected to Mike's former employer, please help this story reach them. And if you can't, please share. We are running out of time, and I'm trying everything I can to protect my family while I still have him here with us. Thank you for reading. So that's just genuinely devastating to read. Now, thankfully, it wasn't long before this story actually went viral and began to spread as social media spread the story far and wide, and also tagged Tim Sweeney, asking him if he's happy with how his decisions have led to awful circumstances like these coming about. You can see right here, this post, for example, spreading this message has garnered 2.6 million views and over 65,000 likes, and tons of comments, both admonishing and vilifying Tim Sweeney for essentially laying off a bunch of people and for the lack of empathy surrounding how some of these folks are like terminally ill and whatnot, and not giving them the grace to at least give them enough quality of life elements like proper insurance to get them through these hard times, and just a general ire against corporations who just have a history of treating people like this as subhuman, as just numbers on a spreadsheet, so on and so forth. And this story spread so far and wide and caught such fire that CEO Tim Sweeney was eventually forced to respond. It eventually reached him, and here's what he had to say about this whole situation. In response to this viral post, he said, quote, Epic is in contact with the family and will solve the insurance for them. There is high confidentiality around medical information, and it was not a factor in this layoff decision. Sorry to everyone for not recognizing this terribly painful situation and handling it in advance. And it seemed as though that was not bullshit, as Jenny actually did provide an update on March 29th, 2026, saying, we are in talks with the appropriate people. We'll update soon, likely by Tuesday. Thank you. And so at the very least, all's well that ends well. At the very least, with this particular family, with this former Epic employee who was terminally ill, it looks like things may go in a positive direction, and there will have hopefully the coverage that they need to kind of weather this just really devastating circumstance. But you have to ask yourself, for every Jenny and Mike whose story are heard, whose story is spread far and wide enough where the right people can take care of them, how many others are there who are faced with similarly devastating circumstances, whose story don't end up spreading, who don't get looked after, who are just ignored and cast aside and treated as subhuman and as just another number? And how many of the over 1,000 people who were laid off from Epic Games as a result of just poor leadership are going through similarly devastating life circumstances that are made worse by the fact that now they've lost their jobs and their financial security and their insurance?
Yeah, and that's the shitty thing about just the game industry in general, because the game industry, like 10 years ago, there were still layoffs, but it wasn't like super bad. But like 10 years ago, the game industry was it was more secure than it was now. Let's put it that way. Like there's no job security in the game industry now. But back then there was a little more job security, which was amazing. back then when you were working at the game, like getting a job at the game industry was amazing. You're like, I get to work at this AAA company making amazing games. Like they're known for making amazing games. Now we'll be part of this process and everything. It'll be awesome. I will be able to have a title under my belt. Like, hey, we created something and people are very passionate about it. Yada, yada, yada. Right. But now it's to the point where it's like, we're like, leadership, they're requesting too much money. They're over promising things just to get this money, which we get. I mean, we get paid with the bonus money. Not with the bonus money, but with the budget that we were given. That's how we're getting paid. That's how employees and stuff like that are getting paid. And then it's like, all right, the game is out. Okay. Then we're like, all right, we're working on some more stuff for the game. But then it's like, hey, investors come down. They said, hey, you guys didn't meet the expectations that you promised us. So we're gonna let some people go. But we want our money back. You still got to pay us back. It's not like, oh, we just give you the money and that's it. You got to break even. Well, you got to break even or you got to make a profit, but it doesn't matter. Either way, I want my money back. That's pretty much what they're saying. And if they cannot meet them with that money, well, guess what? They better find a way because they want that money. So that's why they got to start cutting people, laying off people and stuff like that to cut costs. That's what it is. It's literally what happens every time when it comes to these layoffs and everything like that. Is the studio cannot pay back the investors that fronted them the money, right? That's like me giving you 100, like you, the chat or whoever, you guys. I'm giving you guys $100 to go make your game and everything, right? You go make your game. You come, the game releases and everything, and you sell the game on Steam for like $1, right? And I'm sitting there like, hey, I want my money. I want my $100. Remember, I gave you $100. Oh, where's my $100? And you guys are like, hey, we're still working and everything like that. I'm like, okay. Then a few months go by. Hey, where's my money? Right? And it's like, oh, we still haven't. Well, you better give me my money somehow. Like, I don't care if it's coming out of your pocket or somebody else's pocket. Give me my money back. I get my money back, but then whoever, like some of the people that are working on the game, guess what? They're gone. Or the studio, let's just say. Well, with $100, okay, let's be more real. I give you $1 million, right? I get my million. I'm gonna get my $1 million back somehow. If you don't have the money, well, guess what? Guess the studio's shutting down because I want my money. Somebody's gonna give me my money. So that's pretty much what happened. Pretty much.
Don't get me wrong, it's a good thing that Tim Sweeney did speak out and did contact the family and is actually taking steps to essentially handle their situation and resolve this insurance issue for them. But how many others are just straight up getting ignored because of the fact that their story just isn't as viral?
I create my own rules about buy games. Just an example. Early access games for me is a no. Bad experiences. I'll learn my lesson. Yeah, for me, if it's like a well-known game that I've personally had good experiences with, I will give it the benefit of the doubt. But if it's a brand new game, I'm like, I don't know. Early access, if you have to pay for it, yeah, I'm like, nah. I'll just watch somebody stream, which is the beauty. And I will say this is the great thing about being about live streaming and stuff now, is that instead of like waiting for a trailer back in the day, or waiting for a friend to buy the game and then you going over to the house to play it and everything like that, which is so cool at time. You get to sit there on your computer or on your phone, whatever, or on your Xbox or your TV, and you actually get to watch somebody live stream the game, and then you could come up with your own opinion if you think the game is good enough or not for you to buy, which I think is amazing. That's the like I will say the one thing about live streaming, even how everything's pretty crappy right now, is that is the beauty of it when it comes to at least video games. You get to make your own decision. I mean, back then you still did too, but you actually get to see what the game is like and everything, and not just hear from word of mouth and experience. And that's why a lot of people in mainstream media are pissed off at YouTubers and stuff, because we live stream the games and we play it. and we're like, personally, I didn't like the game because of yada yada yada. But what do you guys think about it? And some people are like, well, I like the game, so it's cool. You know, there's people that didn't like. I mean, I played Battlefield and Call of Duty, and when X Defiant came out, I loved X Defiant. There was a few people in my chat that didn't like X Defiant, but they're like, and then there's some people that did like it. They're like, I don't like X Defiant because it looks too hero shooter based, and it's like very it's very arena arcade shooter type thing. And I was like, that's what I love about it, and that's what they love, or what the developers love about it. So boom. And I was like, hey, everybody's free to their own opinion. Another example, I love Skull and Bones. People don't like Skull and Bones, but I love it because it's just like, hey, I'm on a ship. I get to, build my ship and everything, and get to go fight bosses and things like that. And I get to upgrade my ship and stuff. Lately, they did a lot of changes to it, so I'm kind of confused, but yeah, it's really cool. I like it. But again, there's a lot of people that don't like it, but it's fine. It's totally fine. So yeah.
People have become so accustomed to the heartlessness of corporations that many find it difficult to believe that Tim Sweeney did this strictly out of the kindness of his heart, and that the motive is ultimately damage control. Because that's just the standard operating procedure for corporations and companies and their executives. They will ignore what doesn't do damage to their company, and they will go all out if anything is damaging to the optics and reputation of their company. One has to wonder, if the story didn't spread as far and wide as it did, would this be happening? Would they have been contacted by Epic to help resolve the insurance issues and whatnot? Maybe yes, maybe.
Because here's my question. I just realized with Epic Games, where's the social media manager for Epic Games? I know they have Fortnite, and then they have like other games like Rocket League and things like that, but they don't have one for Epic Games. If they do, where are they? Or did they get laid off like a while ago too? I just like, this just caught my attention. I'm just like, wait a minute. Why is the CEO like, it's nice that he's saying something, but it's very interesting to see that the CEO is saying it and not Epic Games. Epic Games didn't come out with a statement or anything. It's very interesting.
Maybe no, but the inclination tends to be to not trust the goodwill of corporations, or to trust that they have any kind of a good heart underneath that exterior. Which is why in Tim Sweeney's responses, comments have not been kind. I mean, you can see right here, 4.7 million views and just 12,000 likes, which is a pretty stark contrast in ratio. And underneath, you've got people ratioing Tim Sweeney with posts that have more likes than Tim Sweeney's post, with top posts saying things like, gentle reminder that this soulless motherfucker would have never done this if his image wasn't on the line. Fake fuck. Here's another top comment with even more likes, over 17,000 likes, saying, you can go fuck yourself, you soulless bastard. Too little too late, Tim. You only solved the insurance after the internet dragged you for laying off a dying man. How many other families got quietly screwed before the PR panic? Fire the execs who approved this mess instead of playing hero now.
And that's also another big thing, is like, people are probably in the verge of financial ruin, because it's like, this is what like their livelihood is banking on, really, like for them to maintain income for their house, things like that. Like, there are people out in the not just in the gaming field, not in the entertainment field, but like also like a medical field and stuff like that, where they have like their career that they always wanted. But the thing is, due to especially areas that you live in and high cost of living and stuff, which is insane, it's a possibility that they just can't afford it. Like they can't afford it. And what happens is people have to get a second job. Like, there's I remember seeing it on TikTok. There's a lady, she's a nurse. She lives in California. She's a nurse, right? But then also she has a side job as a bartender or something like that, to make a little extra money just to pay her rent and like a few other things, like just basic household needs and things like that, which is insane. It's crazy.
That's just kind of been the general viral sentiment surrounding Tim Sweeney's.
And like another thing is, like, for me, like, I did QA testing for EA and stuff, so I like had that hat and everything. But we lost our jobs too. Like, QA testing for just video games and stuff. Like, we had I'll break it down what happened. So For EA and the for QA testing is you have a year. You do a year. You have a year contract. That's what I signed for. Once that year contract ends, basically based on your performance, they will ask you probably like your 11th month, like your 10th or 11th month. They'll ask you like, hey, your performance, let's talk about it and everything. We want to keep you, or like, hey, like, you know, that like your contract's about to end, you know, just let you know. Right. But usually it's like, hey, we saw your performance is great. You're doing this, and you're, you're doing very well. And I talked to everybody, I talked to people, and they want to keep you. Would you like to extend your contract another 6 months? Because that's the most we can do. The most they can do is 18 months total. So I was like, all right, cool, boom, 18 months. You say yes, you're on there for another 6 months, which is great. Then what happens is they have to let you go. They just have to. That's part of the process on it. Unless they can put you in a more permanent position, but they have to let you go. So you're like, all right, cool. They let me go. And then what you could do is 6 months, like you can wait 6 months and then reapply for a QA position and start the process over again and do another 18 months and things like that. You can do that. That's what a lot of people did. But what has happened is that due to they were saying like due to tariffs and like due to other things that were happening, and mainly cutting costs, EA, what they did is they did a hiring pause on us. So that means we couldn't extend our contracts, because I was right there at the point of extending my contract. We already talked about it and everything. I was already be like, yeah, okay, yes, please. Was gonna extend the contract, but due to the hiring pause, it's cut the extending contracts or extensions, let me put it that way, in hiring pauses in general. And then we got told like probably like 2 weeks later that QA is no longer being a thing anymore for North America. Apex, because I was QA playtester for Apex Legends, and then also partially for with the attachment of Battlefield 6. So what happened was we basically lost both of them. Battlefield 6 went to the Tropic team, which is like Barbados, like their team. That's what we call them. We call them the Tropic team, like the Caribbean, Barbados, all of them. They are the QA testers over there now, or like they're more over there for Battlefield 6. And then for Apex, what happened to us? Bogota, Colombia. They stood up their office a few months before the hiring pause and everything. So what happened with Bogota? So Bogota is now like the QA testers for Apex Legends. That's what happened. So EA for North America, for QA testers for North America, is no longer a thing. Now, if you want to be a QA tester for Apex Legends, you have to live in Colombia. And then if you want to be a QA tester for Battlefield 6, you have to live in like the Caribbean or something like that. So I have to look at more at DICE with their QA stuff, but that's what happened, and it sucks. It really sucks. But that's what happens. Yep, that's the harsh reality of just life in general when it comes to the gaming industry. Let's see. This situation is crazy. I thought already seeing everything, but it seems like English language is not my main language. Hey T, it's okay if you want to type in your native language, it is totally fine. I have a little translator thing, so yeah, I'll be able to translate it, so it'd be cool.
His attempt to try to do right by this specific couple whose story did go viral. And looking at the quote tweets of Tim Sweeney's post here, you can see even more that Tim Sweeney's attempt to rectify the situation hasn't gone down well, because ultimately the way you really rectify the situation is by not laying off 1,000 people after being a really successful mega corporation, or holding the people whose decisions led to these mass layoffs accountable and actually firing the people who actually steer the ship in the wrong direction. So yeah, people are not particularly receptive to Tim Sweeney's sentiments here or his attempt to rectify.
Or what you could do is, if you don't want to fire them, sorry, I had to crush a bottle. If you don't want to fire them, they take a pay cut. Just do that. As a penalty, take a pay cut. If you do it again, you're out. You're fired. If you want to be that nice.
By the situation or his apology, saying Tim Sweeney's trying to act like he's a good guy for restoring life insurance for a laid off employee's family after receiving backlash because he laid off an employee with terminal brain cancer, so on and so forth. I mean, scrolling down, you can see that basically the way people are perceiving this is that it's ultimately an attempt at damage control rather than someone who actually feels like has a heart. And it just goes to highlight how much bad will Tim Sweeney has built over the years, just how much bad will CEOs and corporations have built up over the years, because their tendency truly is more often than not to treat people as subhuman, as just a means to an end, as tools to be used for their corporate purposes. And when these human beings are no longer perceived as useful enough, they get discarded like trash. People are also spreading the story of how executives like Gabe Newell from Valve actually did help out terminally ill employees, referring to, I think back in 2004, A1pha had some kind of illness, and Gabe Newell said something along the lines of like, your job is to get better, and actually like took care of him. And so that's a stark contrast to how, like, say, Tim Sweeney is treating that term.
Yeah, basically, he didn't get no backlash or anything like that. He's just like, oh, this person, they contacted me and said, hey, the person's ill. Don't worry, we got him. We'll take care of him. We take care of our own.
Terminally ill employee. There's actually an article from back in 2029 where A1pha talked about that whole experience. Scrolling down here in this GameSpot article, you'll find the following excerpt. A1pha changed his mind about ditching Valve when he had some personal medical issues to deal with. He said he told Newell he was quitting because of the problems, at which point the Valve boss told him to take his time and get better, while Valve continued paying him. When he came back to work some 6 months later, A1pha said he came in a bit lost about what he was supposed to be doing, but that's part of the process. A1pha said people show up at Valve not always with a completely clear picture of what they want to do, but that's part of the philosophy at Valve. We have never lost money by hiring a good person. They will find something to do. This is the kind of mentality that's allowed Valve to output quality when they do make games. Whereas with Tim Sweeney, sure, he's helping that family fix their insurance stuff, but that employee has still been laid off. Damage control is being done after the damage has been done, after the fact, and it's just nowhere near how, say, Gabe Newell, CEO of Valve, treated one of his employees, such as A1pha, who was an incredibly valued member of the Valve team. So every once in a while, you do get your Gabe Newells or your, Satoru Iwatas, but generally, corporations tend to be viewed as completely heartless because time and again they continue to.
The other name, Satoru Iwata, like what he just said, was the former CEO of Nintendo, who took a 50% pay cut 2 times, 2011, 2014, because the Nintendo 3DS didn't sell well, and then also because the Wii U didn't sell well as well. He took a 50% pay cut, which again is still like Gabe Newell is up there. He's up there, but like Satoru Iwata, like he's a little higher because he fell on the sword. He lived by the sword. He died by the sword. He fell on his own sword to make sure that his employees stayed employed, which is awesome. Gabe Newell, he's up there too. The dude, like, man's unbeatable. You can't beat him. He was like, bruh, we gotta keep this guy. I know he's sick. We gotta keep this guy. Let's just pay him out. We're gonna keep paying him. Wait until he gets better. He comes back. It's good. That's it.
To pull heartless shit, and it's only when they're called out they try to put some heart into it, but that is heart that comes from a place of self-preservation rather than genuinely caring about someone, because that someone to these corporations and executives are just, again, numbers on a spreadsheet, just tools that serve as a means to an end until they don't serve the ends that they desire, at which point they'll just be cast aside like discarded tools. So yeah, the backlash surrounding this has been immense, and it's something that no doubt people will bring up for many years to come in the future. And it's just a certain display of inhumanity that is hard to forget. And at the very least, there's hope in the fact that human beings do care enough about these individual stories that they'll at least look for some of these like more tragic stories and try to spread them as much as possible so that they can truly highlight the evil that can happen within corporations and essentially force them into taking some actions that resemble goodness, but, isn't really that. It's again just ultimately damage control is at least what it feels like. I don't know how Tim Sweeney is actually feeling about all of this, but CEOs are just not easy to trust in this day and age. And Tim Sweeney's handling of Epic, the layoffs, and then this whole situation playing out the way it did. Of course, it's incredibly difficult to trust that sentiments were ultimately, you know, well-natured rather than this being something that is more actually about self-preservation.
True.
But at the very least, that's one man's take. I'd love to hear what your thoughts and opinions are on this whole situation surrounding Epic laying off a terminally ill former employee and them having to go viral before, you know, CEO Tim Sweeney stepped in and did some damage control and kind of went out of his way to resolve this issue for this family. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.
Sorry. Great video. Amazing video. Oh, let me go ahead and copy the link. Make sure you guys give him a big ol' like. Great video, amazing video. Yeah, I will say this, like, it may not seem genuine and everything, but at least he responded, if that makes sense. Yeah, at least he responded about this situation instead of being like just completely ignoring it, which would have made it 100 times worse. So I will say, like, at least he tried. But again, still doesn't look good. But I mean, it is what it is. Well, I can't say it is what it is, but yeah, I mean, it is what it is, you know, type of thing. Because what else? Because honestly, what else can you do from there? Like, it's either you take the L that everything just, you know, that this spread out like wildfire, and then he caught wind. Then, like, you know, Epic Games caught wind of it, so he had to say something. Or what could have happened is they, you know, it could have spread out like wildfire. They caught wind of it and then they didn't do anything. Either way, it would have been bad. It'd been a terrible situation. So, yeah, that's not good. But yeah, make sure to go subscribe to Young Yeah and everything. And yeah, again, it just sucks that game industry it's not like how it used to be. It's not secured and stuff like that. Again, working at a AAA industry was like a dream to a lot of people. It was a dream for me. But the way how things are going and how it's not secured and everything, it's like, well, what's the point, you know, type of thing. So that's all I got. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about this whole situation with Epic Games. And yeah, Self Channel. I'll see you guys later. Have a good one. Peace.